If you think your past disqualifies you, listen closely. Look, the one thing that we all carry is our past. We know everything that we've done. And for a lot of people, our past failures, we choose to make that our identity. We choose to live in shame. Not even a conscious choice, but we do it because while it may be painful, it's also familiar and it's comfortable. And that shame keeps people small. And we live in these patterns that start to feel permanent. But what if it's just flipping the way that you're looking at your past? Now, if you were looking at somebody that you cared about and they gave you their entire past, I would take a bet that you wouldn't disqualify them. Instead, you would start to help them sift through, use their past as lessons. Hey, here's what you could take out of that. Here's something that's probably not as bad as you think it is. Here's something you could probably build on now. We can use those mistakes as data. The past, it does provide information. And failures, when you start looking at them as just weaknesses in the systems, then it just shows you, here's a place that if I can shore this place up, I can get to where I want to go even faster. But we quit. And that quitting, it teaches us nothing. We can reflect for sure, but don't ruminate. Like I tell the people that I work with that you just set a timer. I don't expect for you to set all the things that are going on with you mentally, but you will just give it its proper place in its day. And I encourage you, give yourself 15 minutes a day. It's non-negotiable. You can sit down and you can spend time thinking about these things that are clouding your mind all day long. If it's a failure, if it's a regret, if it's a missed opportunity, give yourself time to feel it, to be in it. But then after that, you step out of it. The only other thoughts you're allowed to give to it is how you use that to do better moving forward. How you can take any of those mistakes, change some small action, almost like an experiment, and then see if you get a different outcome. That's it. Because when we live in shame, it paralyzes our actions and it removes our own agency. When you live too long in that shame, you start to let shame make the decisions. You let it take the wheel. Even the efforts that you try to put forth, try to make things better, they seem hidden because the shame seems too loud. When you give too much time to your shame, when you give too much time to your failures, when you look at them as a negative, then you remove your own agency. You let them have the wheel. And in turn, what they do is they'll take whatever efforts you are putting and they minimize them. Any proof that you can move forward, they extinguish them. Because let me tell you, the negative parts of failure, the negative parts of shame, those things, if you give them life, they're going to want to live. They're going to do everything they can to stay at the surface. It's up to you to have the momentum. Whenever you see yourselves taking positive action, to use that as proof. Allow yourself to see that you have the ability to work yourself out of those scenarios. Look, you're not disqualified because you've lived life. Because the secret is we've all lived life. If you pulled back the curtain on all of us, you would see we all have things that we regret, things that we are ashamed of, things that we wish we could get back. But you can't get them back. The only thing you can do is try to work to be a person who takes those things and they do something better with them. And you will look at that person when we think that they're a person in the distant future. Well, one day I'll get over all of this and then I'll create all these habits and then I'll finally be the person that I should have been. But in reality, there is no person in the future. The only person that lives is the one in the next decision. It's okay that you feel all these things. Show up anyway. It's okay if you feel like you don't deserve it. Take it anyway. Because the truth is, you probably don't deserve it. I know I don't. I know I didn't deserve the opportunities to try to become better after the things that I've messed up. But the only way for you to move forward is sometimes to take the help, to take the motion, to take the movement that you don't deserve, use it anyway. And then when you get to where you want to go, when you start moving in that direction, you use it to help others do the same thing. That's it. That movement will break the shame. It will reframe it. Look, you can't change yesterday, but today is always available. And that momentum just starts with that next decision and then the one after that. You're not trying to be perfect. We are going for progress over perfection because that progress will make you consistent. And eventually, if you stay consistent long enough, that'll be the new path that you're looking at. You will define yourself as somebody who doesn't have to be perfect, but they are consistent enough to make forward progress. And in reality, that's the goal. That's what we're all chasing. We want to prove to ourselves that we can be consistent enough to make forward progress. You get to decide what that progress is towards. That's the beauty of life. And you can go towards something and then you realize that's not it. Cool. You've already got the tools. Let's just realign what we want to do. But you stay consistent and you get to decide where to use that consistency. Not dramatic. It's daily. It's in the habits that you do every single day. The things that most people are never going to see. Things that you're never going to be able to brag about. It is going to be in the way that you wake up. It's going to be the time that you spend helping others, the time that you spend on your phone, the time that you spend talking and thinking to yourself, the little habits that you have throughout the day, showing up, making the decisions. You just want to have more wins and losses on the board. And if you can do that, then you'll start looking at yourself as a winner. Those past losses, they lose authority. Your past explains you. It doesn't define you. What defines you is what you do with it. I posed a question to my students today, asking them that. I'm like, what would the best version of you, what would they do with their day-to-day? And one of them, she said, the best way to prepare for tomorrow is to live your best day today. Like, that's it. If you want a better future, it's not in the future, it's in the now. If you think that you're going through a difficult present, well, that's just because you set yourself up for a difficult present. Obviously, I know that there's things that happen. Life hits us all. Suffering is coming for all of us. That's why we voluntarily take on suffering, because we practice for when it comes so it doesn't derail us. But we can also practice for that success. You can practice for a better tomorrow by living it today. And then the likelihood that tomorrow is better, the odds go up. And the odds go up. To me, I'm playing the odds. That's all life is. It's just one big Vegas. If I can load the dice for myself today so that tomorrow's amazing, let's do it. And then let's roll those dice as many times as we possibly can.